Vitruvian Health Exercise Archive on how to squat correctly. Now we're going to take you through the do's and don'ts and everything involved in the squat with myself, Karl, and Sin. So yes, she is sinful, but she's lovely at the same time. So first thing is, what do you use when squatting? So to start with, Sin's actually going to start with her heels elevated on this rubber matting. She's going to go feet hip width apart, arms out in front. So feet hip width apart, your hips aren't that small. Feet wider, 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 wider. There we go, and squat. Squat. So Sin's going to perform 20 reps. She's going to go down, 3, 2, 1, and up. Then we're going to go 3 down, so 3, 2, lower, 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 and up, and back up. So she's going to do 20 reps. So 3, 2, 1, and up. Now I need Sin to bring her toes out slightly because her knees are caving in. Toes out, so we need to get her working her glutes a bit more. So knees forward and out and up. So Sin, you need to go faster. Keep going for me, 15 reps. So the reason we do 20 reps is to warm up the hips, the ankles, the knees, and get the body just warmed up in general. Now for this, we've elevated her heels on a rubber matting. That's because that helps to eliminate any ankle restriction. If you have that, then this is for you. Now if you don't, so Sin's going to actually step off now, and she's going to continue to squat. Now we notice Sin actually has the depth. So good for her, we can actually go full range. Now one thing to notice is so you got 8 more reps. If you're using rubber matting in a gym, I highly recommend you actually get a slant board, because when you use the slant board, you can actually adjust it in height. So for example, you can go 30 degree incline, then go 20, then whoop, 10. So you can progressively work on improving your ankle mobility and working on your strength and flexibility in the squat. It also removes any restriction or limitation from the ankle, because if Sin quickly does this for us, let's go on, heels on. With the rubber matting, there was a gap under her foot. Now we've removed the gap, so she'll feel more stable when squatting. 2 sets of 20. This is how we always warm up our squats. Why? Because we want to work the movement pattern, and we also want to warm up the joints. Now we're noticing here in Sin, the knees are still not pushing out. So Sin's going to pause there for a sec. And what we're going to do is we're going to give her a band around her knees. So Sin, place this around your knees. So Sin's going to go again, toes are turned, and the knees are going to push out. So she's going to fight this band now. So up. So Sin, push your knees out more, fight the band. Knees out, knees out, knees out, touch my hand, touch her hand. There we go. And up. So that's going to get the glutes to start to work on pushing the knees out. Other cues that could work for you is spread the floor. Now we'll notice here, Sin is actually staying really quite tall up. She actually needs to pull her abs in, lean slightly forward so she can negotiate her balance. And up. Now, one thing that we could see could be a problem is her toes are slightly turning in, making it harder for the glutes to work. That's why I would say toes slightly turned out. Q angle of the pelvis is 3 to 15 degrees, so this works well for everyone to have a slight turn out of foot. We'll notice straight away, it's corrected itself. Now, let's go feet off. So if you have restriction in your ankles like myself, then this is a beauty for you. Karl, what are those shoes in the back? Well, these are weightlifting shoes or powerlifting shoes. They have a 0.6 centimeter elevated in the heel, but also they're quite rigid and strong. With your own shoe, it's quite flexible. So your foot isn't very stable in these shoes. Yes, they're comfy, but not very stable. So Sin, we're going to get you to check these on for us. So what we're noticing is as Sin starts to squat down is she's starting to arch from the pelvis. So she's sticking her ass out to help counterbalance the body and up. What we need to do is we need to keep the glutes on and keep the abs tight. And what we're doing is we want to hinge from the hips. So see, this starts to flare out. We need to pull this in, so abs in tighter. Push your hips back. Yep, you see how those hips have just turned out? So the hips and glutes, so this is what I call like the core unit. So the glutes and the abs work together. So her torso needs to lean forward as her hips go back. So soft knees and hips go back as torso goes forward. So abs stay in, stay in, stay in as she sits back. So she's not arching, so she's maintaining that neutrality in her spine. Can you stick your ass out more? So see how that creates more tension through the back here? What we need to do is we need to actually keep the hips in, abs tight, and hinge from the hips. Now this can tend to happen because there's tightness in the hip flexors, but also because there's no room for the hips. So stand up. So this is why you need to have your feet hip width apart. So bring this foot out a bit wider. Right foot out wider. Toes turned out. both toes, and your knees are going, your feet should spread the floor. So let's go slowly, spread, so push the knees out, 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 out. So this makes room, then the torso and the body negotiate balance to hinge. So push your hips back a bit more, and down, 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 and there we go, and up. If we just allow Sin to work by pushing her knees forward, she's gonna really work just through her quads and not through the glutes, the hamstrings, and the whole body working. So what can tend to happen is you can get some overload of the knee over time. That's just because the quad's getting really fatigued. And let's squat, so let's have a look. Is she getting it? Nope, she's still staying upright, so she needs to focus on hips sitting back, torso going forward. So this is why the ribs are flaring still, so we need the ribs to pull in and you go forward. There you go, and up. So most often people think I'm upright, I have to stay upright. You actually stay upright at the top, squeeze your glutes for me, pull this in, good. They stay upright at the top, and then you're negotiating your balance with your body, so your knees go soft, hips go back, the torso goes, hips go back, torso goes forward, hips go back, abs and tighter, and then up. Good. So with this movement, this is why we do 20 reps to warm up, because we actually need to see what's happening in the body. So let's go. So now we're actually just practicing the movement pattern. Abs in, abs in, abs in. See, that fixes our torso, and then up. Keep going. Now, alternatively, a good exercise that works for this is what I picked up from a friend called the goblet squat. Take the platform away, lift your heels. So remove the platform, feet flat on the floor, and let's squat. So what we're going to do, the body to do, is to get the abs on and the back on, so the core muscles are working. Good. Now we can start to see the heels are starting to lift here. That's because Sin's really focusing on pushing her knees forward. Focus on the knees pushing out and keep the weight in your heels. So toes up for me, just the toes, big toe up, and keep the weight in your heels, and squat. Better. So we're now starting to get a little bit of forward movement, but we're still staying quite upright. So this exercise, which typically works well for firing and priming the abs in the back, isn't working for Sin. Alternatively, we're going to get her to focus on reaching her arms forward, sitting back, down, and then up. So let's go again. When you're going to change something in your squat, always just think one thing at a time. So we're going to focus on arms reaching forward, same as before, abs staying tight, but now we're just going to focus on sitting back. Nope, we've lost the position of the hips. Hold and stop. Don't rush. Pull the abs and belly in tighter. There we go. So now we're sitting the hips back, and now we're seeing that we're able to keep level on our heels. Push the knees out more. Lift your toes up. No, don't move your feet. Just lift your toes up. No, and stand up. Cool. So we've just turned the feet out even more. Let's bring it back. Let's see. Just focus on reaching arms forward and hips back. Reach your arms forward, hips back. Reach your arms forward, hips back. Good, so we want to think of lengthening for Sin. That's her cue that's going to help her. So reach, abs stay in, reach forward, sit back, and up. So we're getting that length now, but we're starting to lose control of the hip hinge here. So let's keep the glutes on. Now, reach forward, sit back. Cool. So this is where Sin's going to be working on the mechanics of her movement to practice getting better at the squat. Very good. And relax. So we're now going to take the band off. We're going to change shoes, and then we'll see you on the barbell.